Now, I've heard it many times that you don't wear the box, right? But me personally, I'm here for the presentation. And I'll actually prove it to you. Look, Nike and the Jordan brand have already turned around and given us multiple different construction themed, rock themed shoes boxes, such as the Cave Stones. Now, the Cave Stone 4s, I personally don't know the story behind it, but what I do know is that we actually have a pretty cool box with the Cave Stone 4s. With some decent, actually, I'm not even gonna say decent, some nice material, some nice nubuck on the Cave Stones. But then they went ahead and gave us the wet cement 4s or the Paris Olympics, right? And this was supposed to represent the cobblestone streets in Italy. After it gets wet, the wet cement, the cobblestone streets actually get a little bit darker, and that box represents that. Then, because of Nike, Nigel, Jordan brand, Bikey Air, you're gonna hear me say that a lot, Bikey, right? Now they went ahead and gave us the brick by bricks. And what the theme behind that brick by brick in the red was to represent kind of more like the building blocks, right? The building blocks, the step-by-step process of what it took to become successful. And there you see we have that brick box. And then to represent a little bit what they like to call the next chapter, it goes into the brick after brick, the Babs. And the brick after brick, you see we have like that white grayish like cinder block, right? And that cinder block is there to kind of represent the progression, the success, or the maintenance, right? So after you have success, now you have to maintain it. Look, it's one thing to get something, it's a whole nother thing to keep it.
Write that down.
Right. So here we go. And this also shows the elevation, kind of like the building on top of, right? So it's one thing to have the foundation, and now it's time to elevate, like my guy Jay Elevate says. Right. Now, the representation of a brick can mean different things depending on how you're referencing it. Like in the sneaker world, we typically know bricks to be a sneaker that actually isn't doing good. A sneaker that bricks out is a sneaker that just maybe doesn't have the hype built around it. Maybe it didn't sell the way that someone thought that it'll sell. Maybe it doesn't hold the resale value depending on who you're talking to. There's multiple meanings behind a brick, but I just love the way that Nigel Sylvester and the team, they turned that brick into more like a positive meaning, as you can see here with these shoes. Or as Redman would say, Brick City. That's a really good album right there. Or maybe on the streets, a brick might even have a different meaning.
And I got the yayo.
But we don't mean it that way. So let's take a look at these kicks. Look, go ahead and tap that like button for your boy, because we're on the road to 5,000 subscribers. And I quite frankly can't get there without all of y'all. But anyway, let's take a look. So as I took these out of the package, I was actually quite stunned with the materials. I've already watched multiple videos on it, because there's a lot of YouTubers, shoe-tubers as I call them, that I follow as well. So I done seen a lot of people's videos on here, and it's not like I'm trying to bite off of them or nothing like that. But the reality behind it is I've had the time, because it took a while for these to come in, and then it took a while for me to actually be able to make a video on it, only because I've been working so much. So first, shout out to my guy Lewis at Wear Your Kicks 26, because I took multiple, and when I tell you multiple, I took multiple L's on this particular kick. I had already started looking at the resale value, which by the way, resale value is not bad on these at all. Go to your favorite third-party apps and you'll be able to see there. Resale value is not bad on them. But your boy Lewis had made a bold statement. He said it was retail or bust. He hit on the sneakers app. This is the pair directly from Nigel, which took the longest. He's in Florida. I believe the sneakers had to go from California to Florida. Then he shipped them from Florida to Colorado. And then it took me a week to even be able to make this video. but I'm making it. But when I first took these out the package, one thing that I did see is, number one, the packaging, the representation behind it. Now we understand what that means. It's cool. But when I first took them out and just literally just took a press right onto that toe box, the first thing I did was I smelled them, right? I don't know, like that scent is crazy. But the first thing I did was just feel that leather, and I was quite impressed with the way that leather feels. So I'm not going to say it's the thickest cut leather. By no means am I a leather expert, because I'm not, but I've had my hands on a lot of shoes. So it just feels nice and plush. Like it is a nice textured shoe. So when we take a look at this leather that is predominantly white and kind of wrapped around there, you can't help but see like that aged, or like that worn away aged sail muslin, you know, whatever it is, but like that aged look on it, and it looks pretty good to the touch. Behind that caging, of course, we have that classic 3M reflective material, and when the light hits it just right, there's no doubt about it. Just like the brick by bricks, there's no doubt about it. When the light hits it right, it reflects right off of the back of that caging. Going right on up, taking a look at the white laces. Now, this does come with multiple sets of laces. We do have kind of like a black lace here, and we also have a red lace. That's also on the inside there. Now, let me speak about this lacing real quick, because if you take a look here on where I have this lace, factory laced, right? They actually come factory laced using that first loop right there. Now, almost like rear testers, let me tell y'all what I've been doing. I have intentionally been wearing my wet cement 4s, and you see I have one there like so, that's laced like normal, and then I have the other laced into that. Let me switch them around here. And I can make a video about this all by itself, but for comfort purposes, you see where we're at. And yes, it does look different, because it does give the shoe kind of like a different look to it. But I can actually feel the difference in comfort. So it's not as tight on the foot. So if you have a wide foot, a fat foot, I don't know, whatever, the reality behind it is, start utilizing, man, some different holes that's there. They put it there for a reason. So let's start utilizing. I can actually feel it different.
Write that down.
But going back to the brick after bricks, as we go up that tongue, and we see the laces there. Now, we have the red straps, the wings, red Jumpman post right there. Jordan Banking Company 2017 behind the tongue. Red insole. You see the sock liner there is white. That is the difference right there, is a white sock liner. Now, there's been a lot of comparisons with this shoe and being compared to, you'll know it, the Fire Red 4s. Now look, let's go ahead and put it out there. We're gonna go ahead and say it. Number one, the Fire Red 4, which is one of the original 4 horsemen in the Jordan 4, is a fire colorway. There's no doubt about it. I love the way the black hits on the back there behind the caging on the Fire Red 4. There are some differences there, so there's no doubt about it. We can tell that this shoe was inspired, right, by the Fire Red 4. But is this shoe right here a Fire Red 4? The answer is no. The answer is no. Matter of fact, for anybody who's had a Fire Red 4, you know that the Fire Red 4 is not the most comfortable shoe. Point blank, period. Maybe we can all agree with that. Maybe we can disagree with everything else, but we can agree to say that the Fire Red 4 is not the most comfortable shoe, right? So this has the inspiration of one, but is it the Fire Red 4? Are you going to turn around and say, I don't need these because I got Fire Red 4s? Look, I ain't saying that. I'm not saying that. Take a look at the bottom. Now, in hindsight, the bottom there, it actually looks like it's black, but it's that anthracite. So it's actually kind of like that gray, like that darker gray, which adds actually a really nice touch and tone to the shoe. It's something about that overlay to where it doesn't look bad, even though it's not black. It adds a nice little touch to this particular shoe. Now, on the other pair, and I also forgot to talk about pause because I don't like the way that I already said. I thought it before I said it, but on the tip, it says brick. So we do have that nice little labeling there. And that'd be a nice little addition to put these white laces into here, just so that we can get the brick on the tip pulse again. So the hang tag. The hang tag was actually one of the things that I've seen initially when I first took the shoe out of the box, and I really like the way it looks. Having that bike air, or as I say, bikey air on the hang tag that's embroidered, is stitched in there. That adds a really nice touch to the presentation, just the overall look behind this particular shoe. You see, we got the hang tag there, and we got that same material on the back right there, where it says Nike Air. On the bottom, oh, I said Nike, bikey, that bikey Air, because normally whenever we have Nike on the bottom, you know we have Nike on the back. So that I already done slipped up, but you'll know what it is. You'll know what it is. Now, a nice little touch that we also have behind. So behind that tab, you see a picture of an embroidered bicycle as well. We do not have anything behind the tongue on the brick by bricks. So at first, comparing the two, I was expecting to get the mud guard. You see how we have that rubberized mud guard there, and we just have a leather mud guard there? I was expecting to get that rubberized mud guard there, and we didn't get it, which is cool. Let me tell you why it's cool. Because what that allows this shoe to do, it allows this sneaker to stand out on its own, so that they didn't just make a carbon copy.
Write that down.
You've seen the reps, right? The UAs. You've seen the fakes behind these, and I'm not gonna lie, some of those colorways are actually pretty fresh, right? Let's just be honest. I've seen these in black, blue, yellow, purple, maybe a different type of orange, maybe an orange, I'm not sure, but I'm not gonna lie, I've seen this particular shoe in some pretty fresh colorways. But I can appreciate the fact that they went ahead and switched it up and didn't just carbon copy the brick after bricks, because now the shoes have different meanings. Kind of shows the progression within Nigel Sylvester's career as well. So I like that. But getting back into the shoe, let's take a look at the insole. On the insole here, we have Nigel Sylvester, and then on the other one, we have Bikey Air, and we have that gold branding. That reminds me of the insole that we have with the Better With Times as well, because the insole on the Brick by Bricks just have the gold branding on it, if I'm not mistaken, on both pairs. Let me just clarify that. Yes. So the insole on both pairs here just have that gold branding right there. So we do have that Nigel Sylvester, the Go, and then the Bike Air on the inside. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the outsole. Now on the outsole, we have kind of like that semi-translucent red. That's that cinnabar. Same outsole that we have on the Brick by Bricks as well, triple B's. But I do like the fact that you see we have kind of like a multicolored pod here versus just two colors on the pod right there as well. Nice little touch right there. Taking a look at that air unit, of course we have that red on the inside of the air unit. And overall, this feels like a very nice, comfortable shoe. Now, with that being said, I will admit that there is actually a minor defect with one of my pairs. My right foot, just right here where your heel slides in, it doesn't have like the same amount of padding. It has less padding than what it does on the other shoe there. That's fine. I'll go ahead and take that. But I did notice that when I put my foot inside of there. Overall, this is a very, very nice, comfortable shoe. I can't wait to put these bad boys on the toe. I'm actually going to wear these. Now, tap that like button. Comment down below. Let me know if you was able to cop these kicks. Let me know if you had to hit the resale market or if you was able to get a retail cop. A lot of people was able to hit on retail. So salute to you for that. And of course, we have that baby swoosh right there to the side, which is a nice little touch. We've seen that baby swoosh on a couple of different pairs. The Air Jordan 1 Howard University, I believe those have a baby swoosh on it. We've seen it, but it's still a nice touch. That baby swoosh is a nice touch. Comment down below. Let me know what you think about these kicks. Man, I am happy to have these in the collect. I will. I will be throwing these bad boys to toe. And salute to Nigel once again, man. I mean, this brother has been killing it. The way that Nike's been advertising, like kind of like the whole rollout, like what they've been doing has been fresh. I mean, he's definitely here for the people, and I'm here for y'all. Thank y'all for all that y'all do, man, and enjoy another video. I appreciate you because you know it's always love on this end, and we out.